Hi friends, it's Shuba. Welcome back to my channel. I am very excited for this vlog in particular. I feel like I just skipped Thanksgiving and went full send into decorating for the holidays and Christmas, and I am so okay with that. I just need some really good holiday joy and happiness and festivities. So here we are. In this video, I'm going to be reading 4 different holiday centered books. Why I am so excited to read these 4 books is because each one is very different in terms of our main characters, the plot. There's different little pieces in each book, and that's why I think each one is unique from one another, and I can't wait to read these books and recommend them to you, or not recommend them to you. But so far I feel like it's going to be pretty promising. I hope you enjoy this video and enjoy watching. Mark, will you do me the honors of picking my first book for this video?
You bet.
I'm going to read you the name of the book and then the first line on the back cover. Love You a Latte by Amanda Elliott. Love comes home for the holidays in this sparkling romance. Kiss Me at Christmas by Jenny Bayliss. It's time for Harriet Smith to enjoy the show, ... That's all you get. That's all you get.
Suspenseful.
Most Wonderful by Georgia Clark. A charming queer holiday romance about 3 adult siblings, each at a personal and romantic crossroads, who unite with their larger-than-life mother at her Catskills manor for an unforgettable Christmas. And last, we have Make the Seasons Bright by Ashley Herring Blake. 2 exes find themselves stuck at the same house for Christmas in this holiday romance. What's my first book gonna be?
Make the Season Bright. Drama.
By Ashley Herring Blake. Okay, thank you. Mark, come here. Come here. Just come here.
I'm nervous on camera.
You don't have to be on camera. Just come here. Tell me why you picked this book first.
Hallmark is coming out with a movie starring Lindsay Lohan and Kristen Chenoweth that follows the same plot, only it's a guy and a gal couple.
We love Lindsay Lohan. Thank you, Mark. Thank you. It is the next day. I wanted to give you a reading update of Make the Season Bright by Ashley Herring Blake, and then talk about what I'm going to do the rest of the day. This book so far is really cute. It is about 2 different characters, so we get 2 different points of views, which I love in a romance novel because we get to read into the mind of both of our characters and their perspectives. So we have our first character. Her name is Charlotte, but also she goes by Lola. Charlotte is this character right here. She lives in New York City. She is in a queer quartet. She hates December. She thinks that she's cursed every Christmas, and the reason is because 5 years ago she was left at the altar by her ex-fiance, who is also her childhood best friend, this girl, Brighton. Brighton is currently in Nashville, and she is down in the dumps as well because Brighton just got kicked out of her band. She works at a bar. She doesn't really feel that Christmas spirit or the happy vibes. This Christmas, however, is going to be a little bit different because Charlotte ends up saying yes to going to her friend's family's house for Christmas, and then Brighton also agrees to do the same thing. And the problem here is that those friends are related. Those friends are siblings. So when Brighton and Charlotte show up to this family's house, they realize that they have to spend the holidays together. So this is a second chance romance. This is a forced proximity story. This is just a story about finding second chances, and I think we're going to see that. I am 100 pages in, and I really like it. I really like Ashley Herring Blake's writing style. She writes queer novels really well. Our two characters are a little opposite from each other, which is what makes them attract to each other, and I really like reading from that aspect. In terms of the other characters we do get in the story as well, we're getting friends who are also queer too, and then we also have an Indian character in this story. So I really like that she is diversifying her story, and I did notice that when I read Delilah Green Doesn't Care, and so I'm glad that she's still building upon that in her newer releases. So far, so good. I like it. It's really fast paced, and that's what I need, especially during this time of year. I've been in this weird reading slump and mood ever since I got back from India. My cat passed away, and then with the election results and just life happening, it's just been such a weird moment in time, and nothing seems to bring me joy at the moment. That's also one of the reasons why I wanted to do a holiday-centered vlog, so I can bring back joy and spirit and just enjoy this time in a life and hope that it lifts my spirits again. And this is really fun and sweet. I'm really glad that I started with this book. Well, Mark chose this book to start off this vlog with. I did get dressed. I am about to go to 2 different bookstores with my friend Logan. So we are going to stop by a local bookstore called Under the Cover. She is wanting to get the next book in the Throne of Glass series that she's reading. So she's going to be tandem reading Empire Storm and Tower of Dawn. I'm not going for a book in particular. I'm just hoping maybe I'll find 1 or 2. My book buying ban is over. It ended when I bought these 4 books for this holiday vlog. I lasted quite a long time. I'm impressed and proud of myself. Book buying is a hobby just as reading is a hobby, and I need to do things right now that make me happy. You'll probably see a book haul in the future. I think after Under the Cover, we are also going to start by Barnes & Noble. There is one book that I'm very interested in getting, and we'll see if they have it. That is the plan for the rest of the day. This evening, we're just going to relax, light the fire, and I will probably try to finish this book. It's really short. It's 350 pages. Let us continue with the vlog. Goodbye. I finished Make a Season Bright by Ashley Herring Blake, and I really liked this story. I love that we got to read from both Charlotte and Brighton's point of view, so we got that multi-point of view story, but also they both flash back in time to kind of reminisce on their love for one another and why they love each other, but also what happened the day of their wedding that tore them apart. So it's nice to get that whole background of these characters and understand why we are rooting from them, not just from the start, but also rooting for them to get back together by the end of the story. And you'll just have to read the story and decide and see if they get back together. I will not say. But a lot of the story takes place prior to December 25th, so prior to Christmas. So it was just really fun to start off with the cozy holiday vibes of this story. There is a one bed trope. There is forced proximity. There's also a surprise fake dating element in this, which I found to be really fun, and I didn't see that coming at all. There is a reference to Sufjan Stevens, and I listened to him growing up all the time, and I actually think I need to pick up his holiday album and re-listen to that this holiday season. My one thing that I'll say that I did not appreciate is the miscommunication, and then also there's a little bit of third act conflict and breakup. And if you've been here on my channel before, you know that I don't necessarily like third act conflicts, and I just think that when there's a good happy ending, it should just end that way. All in all, I really enjoyed it, and I would recommend this book. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I recommend, and I hope you get a chance to read it. I feel like I'm blending into this book with my denim jacket. I did start Love You a Latke by Amanda Elliott. So far, it's really good. I am 165 pages through, so I'm officially halfway through the book. Let me tell you a little bit about this story. This is about our main character. Her name is Abby, and she's just having a not great holiday season. She's also our grumpy main female character. She owns a cafe in a small town in Vermont, and she just sells coffee and some breakfast and lunch goods. She's pretty cranky at the moment. Every single day, the same guy, his name is Seth, he is Mr. Sunshine, he comes in asking for the same exact drink, and they never really hit it off. Unfortunately, their dynamics just really clash with one another. So we do have this small town aspect, and they have a meeting, a town hall meeting, and it turns out every single year they usually host a Christmas festival, but this year they need to raise more money for the town because all of Vermont and New York City and surrounding areas are saturated with different Christmas holidays, and they want to stand out. So they decide to make a Hanukkah festival, and who is going to create this event and plan it? No one better than Abby, even though she doesn't want to. This is a Hanukkah and Jewish-centered story, which I really, really appreciate because it's different than what I've read before. We are also learning more about the history of Hanukkah and how Hanukkah was formed and why we light the menorah. Let's talk about our main male character, who is Mr. Sunshine. His name is Seth, and he and Abby end up making a deal. Abby doesn't know anyone who can help her find vendors and help her plan this event. So Abby and Seth agree to help each other out. He's gonna help her plan this event by helping her find vendors in New York City if she goes back to New York City to fake date him for the holidays, so his parents will get off of his back. So we have fake dating involved, and this story is centered heavily around food, which I really like. I did learn in the story that the days in Hanukkah aren't always the same time and time frame like Christmas is. It all depends on the lunar calendar, I believe. Shoot, I hope I'm not wrong. Something else that I really like about our characters is that our main female character is grumpy, but our main male character is more on that sweeter side. I find that when I read a lot of contemporary romances, it's sometimes the opposite, and so it's nice to kind of have a change in dynamic, if you will. Can't say that I relate to Abby as much as I do Seth. Abby still is just a character who is struggling with some past with her parents, and she's just dealing with being alone during this time, since the holidays are usually a time of spending it with family and friends and loved ones, and she doesn't necessarily have that right now. Seth, on the other hand, he's kind of like a golden retriever. He's someone you can really like, and I really like his personality. We don't get to read from his point of view, unfortunately. You know how I feel about male point of views. I love them, and I think we need them in romance books. I'm picturing Adam Brody when I am reading this book. I am going to take a quick break and film some other videos. Bookmas is coming, and by the time that this video is up, Bookmas will already be starting, so you'll already be watching a few of these Bookmas videos. I went to the bookstore yesterday, as you saw, and got some books for a book haul, and I'll be filming that. So you'll just have to stay tuned and see what books I got for the end of the year. That is all for my reading update. I'm going to leave it right here, film some videos, talk to you later once I finish this book. I finished Love You a Latke by Amanda Elliott. I liked it a lot. I would say I would give this book a 4.5 out of 5 stars, only because Abby was not my favorite character. She's just grumpy, and I didn't like her as a character as much as I did Seth. Seth made this book. He was so sweet. The whole point of this story is that Abby is trying to create a Hanukkah festival for her small town. They've never built this festival before. It's always been a Christmas festival, but they're trying to change things up. So this whole 300 or so pages is based on this Hanukkah festival. And there's some subplots to it too, but that's what the goal is. And we only get the festival in the epilogue, and I wish that we would have gotten more of the festival and how it comes to life before the epilogue, before the actual story ends. That's the only issue that I have with this book. Other than that, it was really good. It was heartfelt. I loved it a lot. I did start the third book of this vlog. It is Kiss Me at Christmas by Jenny Bayliss. I read a whopping 26 pages. I'm only on chapter 4. I started it this morning. I like that we already have met both of our main characters. This is a single point of view. We are reading from Harriet's perspective. She is a single mother, and her daughter decided to not come home for the holidays. For some reason, when I was reading the back of the book, I was thinking that the both of them were staying in New York, and it takes place in New York, and none of that made sense in my mind, but I kept reading it over and over again. No. Her daughter is studying abroad in New York, so Harriet is actually from a small town in England, London, I don't know. It's in the UK though, which now makes total sense. I feel very silly. Within the first few pages, we already meet James, who is our main male character. They end up having a one-night stand, and that's where I'm at right now, so not very far in the story. I like the writing style. I feel like our main female character is really witty, and she is just very sassy, so it's nice that we're getting her inner monologue while we're reading the story. Other than that, nothing else to really say. My battery is about to die. 1 second. I will talk to you whenever I get farther in this book. We are halfway through this vlog. I think this book had potential. I ended up DNFing this book at chapter 20. About halfway through this story, I decided that I can't keep reading this book. I also feel like I didn't do a good job about explaining what this book is about. So let me just backtrack for a second and let's start fresh and talk about the potential of this story and what it could have been. This is a story about our main character. Her name is Harriet. She is a single mom, and she loves the Christmas time. She loves getting into the holiday spirit because she and her daughter always celebrate together. They decorate the house together. They're basically best friends. And this Christmas, however, her daughter decides to stay back in New York with her foster family and celebrate Christmas in New York. So Harriet is now stuck in the UK for the holidays by herself. She ends up going to a bar, and drinking her sorrows away, essentially, and meets a stranger, and they end up hooking up and have a one-night stand. His name is James. She just leaves the next day expecting that she's not going to see him ever again. Her day-to-day job is that she is a pastoral teacher, and I had to look up what that was, but essentially in the US, it's a counselor of some sorts for a school. And her main focus is making sure that this famous 5 get through school. She has a sweet spot for them. They're misfits. They don't necessarily have the support system that they deserve, and she's kind of there to help them out. They end up breaking and entering into a winter theater, and Harriet stops by and kind of gets them to leave, but then the cops are called and she gets caught, and now she has to revamp this theater and host a one-night theater showing on December 21st, and the kids are going to perform in this show. So it's going to be a last hurrah before this winter theater gets sold, and the theater is owned by this old grumpy woman. This lady reminded me a lot of the grandma in Nosy Neighbors, and I really liked that story. I feel like this old lady is said to be just this grumpy woman who doesn't really care about anybody but money, and maybe she does. Right now, it sounds like she doesn't have a soft spot at all, but maybe she's just misunderstood, and if I would have kept going, I would have learned more about her, but halfway through, I don't think so. Harriet agrees to do this so that she doesn't get sued and she doesn't lose her job, and so now Harriet has to meet with this old lady's lawyer, and turns out the lawyer is none other than James. Basically, that's the whole premise of the story, and all of this story is about redecorating and renovating this theater. Let's first talk about what I liked about this story and what I found to be endearing as I was reading this book. I liked that our two main characters, James and Harriet, they're in their late 30s. She had a child when she was in her teens, so she's in her late 30s, and he is too, so I like that they're just adults. A lot of the romances that I read are when two people are either my age, I'm 31, or in their teens, or just early 20s, so it's kind of refreshing that we're seeing this different age group in this romance novel, and I did like that. And with that as well, there is this miscommunication trope that it starts off with, because Harriet just dips out the day after the one night stand, doesn't say goodbye, and he's upset and she's upset, but there is a moment where they talk about why they're upset with each other, and that's not even halfway through the book. It is way before, as they start working together to fix this theater up. And so I really liked that. I really liked that they're talking to each other and they're figuring things out and they want to take things slow. So I appreciated that romantic aspect of it. I think it's very healthy. Adding to that, I thought this was going to be a slow burn with a lot of emotion and romance, since they are having to work together and that forced proximity where they're seeing each other constantly to fix this theater up. But majority of this book is about renovating this theater, and it doesn't even seem really Christmassy to me, and the whole point of this vlog is to read holiday romance stories. Reading this book, I didn't feel that there was this Christmas element and this holiday element to it. It just felt like it's wintertime and they're fixing up a theater. When I'm reading a holiday romance, what I want is the banter, what I want is the longing, I want the slow burn romance. I also want the holiday and festive spirit. What I've noticed reading all of these books so far is that all of our characters are just cranky and grumpy, and they're kind of deciding to nix Christmas all around, or Hanukkah, I suppose, and I just didn't necessarily want that. This book is just not hitting, and That's okay. We're going to talk about the last book that I'll be reading in this vlog. I did also get the ebook so I can read at night and go back and forth. I like it so far. I like it more than Kiss Me at Christmas. I am only 75 pages in, and this is a 400-page book, so not even halfway. The story is about 3 siblings, and they're at different crossroads in their lives. Things are just falling apart and they're all crumbling in their own ways. All 3 siblings decide to run away from all of their problems and go stay at the Catskills for the holidays where their mom lives. And their mom is this famous woman. I think she's an inn owner, a producer, a director, actress. I don't really know. She's just really famous. That's really not the point. We're reading in third perspective from each of the 3 different siblings, and it's slowly connecting and coming together, and I like that a lot. I like that these are 3 different queer characters as well, so we're getting representation. One of the siblings, he is half Indian, and I really did not see that coming at all, and I appreciate that. His dad is from India. He's 29 years old, and he is just trying to find out who he is. I think each of the characters have something different that they're struggling with. You're following the 3 different characters. You're just getting a little bit of it all. It's reminding me of Blue Sisters by Coco Mellors, but Christmassy and lighter, I would say. And I'm not going to talk about Blue Sisters too much since I did DNF that book. This is feeling hopeful though, so I am excited to keep reading. Something that I am noticing though with all the books that I have chosen is that all of our characters are just shitting on the holiday spirit. And that wasn't the point about why I wanted to read these books. I wanted to feel the spirit. And I mean, by the end of the story, they do get their joy back. But I've noticed that all of the main characters decide to just shit on Christmas this year and Hanukkah. That's just something that I thought about this morning as I was reading this, The Most Wonderful. I'm going to continue reading. The Chiefs are playing at 2 o'clock today, which is why I'm in red, and I'm just gonna watch it while I read. We started off this vlog in front of this Christmas tree, so I thought we would end this vlog in front of this Christmas tree. It's been a few days, but I did finish Most Wonderful by Georgia Clark. It was really good. Not my favorite out of the 4 books, but not my least favorite either. I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. This is a very emotional story about 3 siblings who are just trying to navigate life and run away from their problems and just try to figure out their next step in life. We have Liz, who is a showrunner for her show, but she ends up falling in love with the main actress, who ends up showing up at the Catskills as well. So there's forced proximity. Birdie is the second sibling, and she is a comedian who can't get her big break in New York City. She also has avoidance attachment style when it comes to relationships, and when she's at the Catskills, she ends up meeting someone quite opposite of her, an art dealer. And then we have our third sibling. He's the youngest. His name is Raffi, and he is a hopeless romantic. He's running away to the Catskills because he proposed to his girlfriend, and she said no. It's really sweet just having that sibling bonding happening during Christmas time. I liked all three of them put together when they're in the same room, because they were just helping each other through their problems and they all know each other really well. So we're also getting some of that comedy and humor added into the story as well. This story reminded me a lot of The Family Stone, and it's been so long since I've watched it, but it's very emotional on that level. I wouldn't say that this is a cheery holiday novel. All of the siblings run away to their mom in the Catskills, and their mom was just a hoot and a half. She was this larger than life famous woman that everybody knows, and she has this really goofy side, like she has no care in the world, and I really appreciated that set of attributes, because we have these siblings and their characteristics that were very different from the moms. And so it was really fun to get the mom's perspectives on each of her daughters and sons as we were reading this story, since this whole book is in third point of view, which I loved. The themes that I found in this story revolved around family, mental health, and just finding your purpose in life. And I think that that's something that a lot of us can relate to. I mentioned that this isn't your happy-go-lucky holiday read, but it is a queer holiday cozy romance, and if this is something that you're interested in, you want to read, then I highly recommend this book. These are the 4 books that I read in this vlog. Let's do a quick recap. I'm gonna move backwards. I just told you how I feel about Most Wonderful, 3 out of 5. I enjoyed it. It's very different and I recommend. Kiss Me at Christmas by Jenny Bayliss. Unfortunately, this did not hit at all. I DNF'd it a little halfway through the book, and I just didn't like the characters. I couldn't care for what was happening. It was more plot and less holiday vibes, and not what I was looking for. Love You, Latke by Amanda Elliott. I loved this story a lot. I gave this a 4.5 out of 5 stars, and only because it wasn't long enough and the story revolved around the Hanukkah festival and we didn't get the aftermath of the Hanukkah festival. But that's okay though. I still really love this story. I love the aspect of it being revolved around Hanukkah rather than Christmas. I loved our main male character. His name was Sam, even though we didn't get his point of view. And the story was just overall very good holiday vibes. I enjoyed it. I recommend. The last book and the first book that I started this vlog off with is Make the Season Bright by Ashley Herring Blake. I really enjoyed this story. Ashley Herring Blake can do no wrong, in my opinion. I give this a 4 out of 5 stars, and the only reason is because I just didn't find that 5-star feeling, as Emmy Rossum would say. It was really good though, and I definitely recommend if you want a queer holiday romance. I do think that this was more on the comedic side. I giggled a few times, so it was really good and I recommend this book. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you had a cozy time in this holiday vlog and you got some holiday recommendations. I will see you in another video for Bookmas. Have a great day. Bye!